Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire allotment adventures on what is a beautiful autumn day. There's a small breeze, the sun's out, well the skies are clear. It's really quite warm here on the allotment. Well, today is about tidying up. I've started on the base. Some of the sunflowers are going, in fact this is the next one to go, and then the other one over here. Interestingly, the one over there is completely covered in very tiny snails. Strange, I know. They'll come off, we'll get their heads inside so they can dry off, so then these seeds can be used all over the winter period for the birds and the wild animals that are knocking around. This is lavender, still smelling gorgeous. More about that in a while. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. I'm enjoying the sunshine. Come on, you know the drill. Put your feet up, get yourself a cuppa, and enjoy the show. Well, here I'm next to the lavender bushes. As you know, this is a very old one, 40 plus years old. It's a bit woody down the bottom end, but as you've seen this season, it really does produce some beautiful flowers, and as we know, the bees love it. Now, why am I cutting it back at this time of year? Well, it does need cutting back, possibly more than I'm doing at the moment, but I'll do it in two phases. The first phase is I'm taking the top long stems off that have had the beautiful flowers, and they're still there. They've lost their colour, but they've got their smell, and we'll pop it into like a little display really. And I've got one over here that's finished. Let me swap the one I prepared earlier. I've just tied it with a little bit of tie. Now, lavender, as we all know, has magical properties. The interesting thing about lavender is it goes back at least 2,500 years. Yes, come on, let's head off to the Mediterranean. Let's go to Greece. Let's go to India, Asia, Middle East basically. And they all love this stuff. In fact, Cleopatra, whoa, well, apparently she loved it, really believed in it, and she believed it helped her to woo the men. So her and Julius Caesar, she believed they got together because of lavender. Isn't that amazing? And eventually Mark Antony. Well, who knew a bit of lavender could do all that for you in the boudoir? Now, the other thing about lavender is, yes, it smells delicious. Yes, it's a beautiful herb. Did you know, though, we're heading towards the end of October. And here in this country, it's where we celebrate Halloween and the 31st of October. To ward off evil spirits, you can use lavender. People strongly believed in it. In fact, in Portugal and Spain, on St. John's Day, they would put lavender onto their bonfires to make sure that the evil spirits would not appear, they'd disappear. So it really was used as a magical potion against evil spirits. Did you know that? Many people, Victoria used to love Queen Victoria here in this country. Elizabeth I loved lavender too. Again, for its magical properties, but also because it smelled so nice. They would have it in their baths, they would have it at bedtime to help them go to sleep, of course, and they would just strewn it across the floor because they felt that this could help disinfect all of the evil spirits and all of the smells that were laying around. So really magical, evil repelling herb. Isn't it incredible? And I'm lucky, I've got at least 2 bushes here of these, and it's going to be lovely. So do I place them around the house on Halloween to ward off the evil spirits? Or do I just pop them in a vase without any watering and enjoy their beautiful aromas for the next couple of months, because they will dry out so nicely. Oh, aren't we lucky to have lavender? Your plant against evil. Well, what started as just clearing up the sunflowers has turned into double digging, because I spotted right at the very end where my potatoes have been growing, and they were the Cara variety. I spotted one little potato, and I thought, well, I'll dig around it. So look at that, a find. That is a little win here on the allotment today. The funny thing about it is we've just talked about having bangers and mash for tea. I was going to use the mashed potatoes I've got. I thought, oh, they're going down a bit now. Well, I've got some more. This is very fantastic. Now, out of the last batch, we did get a couple that had been eaten by little earwigs, and so unfortunately I lost a couple of them, but you can always cut them out, so the rest of them are fine. These look fine. There is one, I think, that maybe I have to get rid of, but that's absolutely fine. That's because I've left them in far too long. But once again, Cara variety of potato, that is my choice of next year, and that's the only one I'm buying, except I did find two of the salad blue varieties, and as you can tell, they're really impossible to find because, of course, that's your normal variety. They shine in the dark soil. These look like rocks in the dark soil, so there could be a few more left in the soil, and there's not a lot I can do. I've double digged it over, literally. I've had a trench and then filled that in, a trench and filled that in, and we're working now through the area. Once I've done the floor, now I've got to be careful because I've still got a couple of pumpkins here. What I've done is I've cut the rest of the leaves off and to help them hopefully turn orange by the end of this month, which is only a week's time away. Now, next weekend, it is here in the UK, officially, the time when we put the clocks back. Yes, fall back, as they say in America, spring forward. So it's going to start getting dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so the plants that are left are going to need as much help this next week as they can possibly get. So I'm going to take all the leaves off everything that I can find that have fruit still growing, and then that hopefully will encourage them to continue their growth. I was talking about lavender earlier, and I said about cutting twice. You can either do it late autumn, which is what I'm doing actually, because we've had the weather. I know we've had torrential downpours, and my heart goes out to anyone here in the UK that's been affected recently by the storm. Friends of ours have been flooded out, and it's not a nice thing. So to everybody across the country, wherever you are, I hope you weren't affected and floods. I mean, literally these floods were as high as a car, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 foot deep in some places. So, well, in fact, here's a little photograph from where I live, or near at the end of the lane, and as you can see, the main drains went again, and it was flooded, and it happens regularly. But luckily we've got a runoff that goes down to the railway tracks, so we're safe here where we are. And actually I think if we were ever flooded, we're in danger. I think we'd have to go up at least 30 feet to get even near levels where we'd flood, because the allotments are low down. We've got a lake behind us, we've got 2 other lakes behind that, and so hopefully all the drain water, and we've got lots of fields that they use actually as floodplains, so fingers crossed. But again, my heart goes out to anybody who was affected by the floods. It's awful, awful things. But looking forward, so I was talking about cutting the lavender twice. I cut it now at the end of this season, and then fleece it over winter, and then in the early spring I cut it right back, and hopefully then it will get new growth. I'm going to start doing my roses next. They're the next to be cut back. I've left them because I've had a couple of roses come and I didn't want to get rid of those, so I'm going to cut those back as well. Also in the greenhouse here I've got another butternut squash, and funny enough I've just looked here and this plant is trying to escape, and well, it's got some little butternut squashes coming. Unfortunately a little too late in the season, but at least it's having a go. And on this particular plant, unfortunately what happens is they grow so big and then they shrivel up and they die, which is unfortunate, but it's happening. There's a couple more inside there. I have got one in here that will need to come out because we are going to make some butternut squash soup with the ones I've got, and we might as well add that one too. Well, as I say, it's that time of year, lots of things to do. I hope you're working hard on your growing patch, your allotments. I know it's that time of year, isn't it? It's great to be out today, it really, really is. Oh, but now I think I need a cuppa, because I've literally double dug the whole of the plot virtually. It's just a bit daft looking for potatoes, but at least I've had some. Once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Thank you for your comments, they're really, really lovely. I love hearing from you all. And I'll see you next time here on the Yorkshire Allotment. I'd say I'm squinting, but the sun's out. In fact, it's just gone behind a cloud, so that's probably more helpful to me than it is to you. Once again, thanks for watching. See you next time here on my Yorkshire Allotment.